I'm going to discuss Moses holding his hands up during a battle the Israelites were having with an enemy. To properly start this video, I'm going to read the passage in question. I will start with the King James Version for those who prefer the King James or maybe King James only, and then I will read it in the NASB because I feel like that is the most accurate version, but I'm not here to debate which version, so I'm going to read from both. That way, the choice is for the viewer. Exodus 17, starting in verse 8, it says, "Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim." I'm assuming that's Rephidim. "And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in mine hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses held up his hand, that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took a stone, and put it under him, and he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on the one side, and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar, and called the name of it Jehovah Nissi." I am guessing. Obviously, the first part's Jehovah, and then it says Nissi, which I'm assuming is Jehovah Nissi, maybe. "For he said, Because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation." For the NASB, Exodus 17, verse 8. "Then Amalek came and fought against Israel at Rephidim. So Moses said to Joshua, Choose men for us, and go out, fight against Amalek. Tomorrow I will station myself on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand. Joshua did just as Moses told him, and fought against Amalek, and Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. So it came about, when Moses held his hand up, that Israel prevailed, but when he let his hand down, Amalek prevailed. And Moses' hands were heavy, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it, and Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and one on the other, so his hands were steady until the sun set. And Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, Write this in a book as a memorial, and recite it to Joshua, that I will utterly wipe out the memory of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and named it, The Lord is my banner. And he said, Because the Lord has sworn, the Lord will have war against Amalek from generation to generation." I want to discuss the significance, importance, or what exactly him holding his hand up had to do with them winning. Another example where we see the rod being held up would be when they wanted water in the wilderness, or before that, when the Red Sea parted. That is a whole nother video I would love to get into, and the science behind that, because I don't think that including science does anything against God. God created science. God created all the science that we have to work with. Whether he wants to stay in those bounds or not is up to him, and I see nothing wrong with showing with what we know, which is within the bounds of science, that, hey, this easily happened or could have happened this way or that way. I see no problem with that. That would be another interesting video that I would love to do, especially on more of a flat earth angle. But for this video, what in the world was it about him holding his hands up? Because at first he was just holding the rod up, but then they held both of his hands up. Part of me has been curious if it has to do with praise. And if it has to do with, like, I don't want to say God wasn't involved, but the posture of praise, the importance of praise, and the possibility of the channeling of energy, maybe. I do not want this to sound new agey, because they really try to, make us our own God, and I don't want to do that at all. But I do believe that the flat earth that God created allows for energy flows in ways that a globe would not. I don't really know how to explain that specifically. I don't know of the right way to say that, but I do feel like we can channel energy through ourselves, but I also think it has to do with how we present ourselves to God. And so I think part of it might have had to actually do with how he was presenting himself to God, and it might have also been because on a faith principle, you know, when he held it up, there was victory in a situation, and so when they needed victory, he held it up like, you know, he was supposed to do before. I don't know, that's been something kind of tugging at me. I don't necessarily think it proves flat earth, but I am compiling a list of examples of when it talks about being under heaven, because I have asked that to a globe earth friend of mine, and the answer I received was basically that, well, if heaven is above space, then it would work, or because it's spiritual, it can basically stay over the earth as it moves around. I only have so much space, so I couldn't do it quite, accurately, but it would basically be like the earth, heaven, and then moving with the earth. I don't necessarily buy that. I kind of used to, but I also was always curious. I don't want to say why heaven wasn't a globe, but like, if I'm on this, and then this is what's above me, has just always made me curious. Definitely something else that I want to look into. Thought I would just post a quick video on that. I know this wasn't much, but I'm curious what everyone's thoughts are. So please leave a comment. Let me know kind of what you think. Because I don't really know what to think about this, to be honest, to really give my opinion. Thank you for watching this video, and please stay tuned for the next one.